We are just around the corner to the next major Red Dead Online update. Rockstar have confirmed that there will be another update in 2020, and as 2021 is literally just a month and a half away, there's only a limited amount of time in which Rockstar can release. And what normally happens just before a major update release, Rockstar start giving interviews. And over the last couple of weeks, there's been a number of different interviews taken place with a number of different game and news articles. And now we're at the point where they've all been released. There's been a lot of talk about the next major update. One of the things that has been heavily talked and the subject of this video is a fishing role coming to Red Dead Online. Before I do get into the video, if you do want to talk more in depth about anything relating to Red Dead Online, whether it be the latest news, talking about future updates, or even just learning how to make more money and gold, then there is a link in the description down below which will take you over to the Twitch stream. Currently stream every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and when the next Red Dead Online update is out, we're going to be hitting this streaming grind daily, as well as it will also be around about the time which Cyberpunk 2077 comes out, and I have already got a second channel dedicated to that game. Links to that can also be found in the description, but we'll also be doing daily streams with Cyberpunk 2077. So getting back into the video, the reason why players are talking about a fishing role is because back when Red Dead Online was first released, fishing was the #1 thing to do to make money, and the cool thing is that there was a couple different ways to do it. Some of the most popular methods were to go over to Valentine and fish beside the Dakota River. In this location right here, you could actually stand on a rock, get some big fish spawn in, chuck your fishing rod in, and you can reel them in within seconds. Because of how shallow the water is here and the distance between one side of the river to the other, it was extremely easy to reel in, to the point of where you didn't have to do it, you just had the animation. It was also a very popular fishing method just outside Thieves Landing at Stillwater Creek. If you pulled out your fishing rod near this little puddle of water here, fish would actually spawn in. And the cool thing is that you can run straight through this back and forth, and fish will disperse, going onto land and then killing themselves. You would then just run around, picking all the fish up. There was even something called carcass fishing. And this is when you can kill a medium-sized animal, take it over to shallow water. A lot of this stuff though has been patched over the years. Obviously back then, this was not the outlaw lifestyle that everyone was wanting within Red Dead, but there were some very enjoying as well as some very profitable moments. And because of this, this is what players were doing most of the time within Red Dead. If you were a solo player and you did want to dedicate yourself to the grind, you did fishing within Red Dead Online. But since the summer update in 2019, the trader role was introduced. The trader does not take in any meats, and this includes fish. Fish can be sold to the butcher, but if you were only fishing for money, the summer update provided more ways to make money and better ways, which includes the collector. And if you were someone that did really enjoy fishing, you had new content in the game, and your options were to carry on doing something that you was able to do for nearly a year at this point, or go and play the new content being the trader, collector and bounty hunter. Most people went for the new roles rather than staying with the old thing, because there just was no reason to. So that is the history of fishing within Red Dead, but recently fishing has been brought up again in an interview. The interview that we're looking at today is from Oz Gamers. They did an interview with Tarek Hamad, Katie Picker and Scott Butchard. At the bottom of the interview, a question is raised about what type of activities would you like to see added in the future of Red Dead Online. Katie Picker talks about how she would love to delve more into classic areas of the West now that there has been a good foundation to the game. But people are talking about what Scott Butchard says. Scott says, "I'm a big fan of the collections. I just love it. I could be out doing a bounty or hunting some elk, decide to pop out the old metal detector, and I get a hit. It feels really satisfying gathering the stuff from Madame Zazar. She's a great character too. I agree with Katie that more traditional gunslinger style content would be cool to provide that authentic Wild West vibe. I also am a big fan of fishing in game and feel that there could be scope to expand on that in some way we did with hunting. By opening up these specialist roles, we've created multiple pathways for the game to go forward from here, with something for everyone." Which is very interesting considering Katie was talking about a classic eras of the Wild West. Maybe bring in something a bit more action packed, maybe something like robberies, but players have gravitated towards fishing. which is what Scott said with what he would like to see. And the reason that we're still talking about this, not just because of the hype, but also because it could be very easy for Rockstar to implement this into the game. You can already fish within the game. You can buy a fishing rod, you can buy bait. You can even go over to LaGrasse to find a bait shop where you can buy bait as well as get different type of fishing lures. And that is just if you want to do normal fishing. You can even take it a step further. You can already get canoes in the game, as well as the different motorboats that you can find off the docks of Saint Denis, which you can swim out to, take control of, and just sail off. You can't go too far because they will sink or explode. You need to stick close to the shore. But this is already within the game and could come together to make a fishing role. And I think this is what players would really like to see. Some players have suggested that it would be nice if you can actually just buy a canoe or buy a riverboat, rather than having to go to a certain location and hope that they would spawn in, or having to go to a location just to wait for someone else, an NPC, to sail across so that you can kill them or just rob them for whatever they have. There's also been talks about legendary animals, which have been brought up in these interviews. And with this, players are really hoping that legendary fish would be coming to online, just like you have legendary fish within story mode. This is another way that Rockstar could expand on this. And they've even mentioned this already within a Vandal interview talking about legendary animals. In this paragraph, they do talk about Harriet as well as Gus, how they're interesting characters to the game, but do go on to say this: the plot of this interesting conflict, although more legendary animals have continued to be introduced in recent months, it could be expanded soon. Butchard anticipates Gus's point of view totally clashes with Harriet's, and offers players other possibilities and material rewards. The two are great characters that could really exist in this world, and yes, there are chances that they will show up again in the future. So in this, it does say that legendary animals could be expanded soon. And this could be legendary animals like a different type of panther, a different type of cougar. Some have even talked about the bull gator coming from story and being put into online. Others have even taken it a completely other direction and have been asking for the lion, which you also find within the story mode, which is part of a stranger mission. And then you do have another group of people which are saying legendary fish makes sense. And this is something that can be expanded on massively. But all in all, the most important thing, no matter what the role is, and even if we don't know how it's going to work, is whether or not players would play it. And we know that they would. This was a thing that players were enjoying for a very, very long time, and players could argue that back then there really wasn't anything to do within the game, so therefore that's why players did fishing. But if fishing was really that bad, players would have just given up on the game completely. They would have ditched the game and just played a completely different game. But it seems like during that hard time, fishing was the activity that kept a lot of players coming back. And with the fishing role just being briefly mentioned, it has got a lot of players talking about it. It could also fit within the world. We've already talked about all the features that are currently within the game, which Rockstar could just build upon. The foundation is already there. There's also buildings within the world dedicated to fishing. There's a number of different docks within Red Dead. You can find within Blackwater there a fishmonger, as well as in Saint Denis on the complete other side of the map, you can find a ship chandler. Both of these would be cool to have a store at, where you can either sell fish or you can go over and upgrade boats, or even just buy boats as well as canoes. If the fishing role was ever to come, you can see that a lot of the locations, tools, features are already there. There's just a few things that need to be added so that it can wrap this whole thing together. Would it be part of the next update is the next question, and the answer to this is probably not. There seems to be more pressing information for bounty hunter change, as well as properties coming to Red Dead Online, as Rockstar have been talking about these changes to previous roles and properties for a very, very long time. But also going back to the interview from Oz Gamers, where Scott does talk about the fishing role, it does say big fan of fishing in game and feel like there could be scope to expand on that in the same way we did with hunting. And that sounds something that would be said for something way, way in the future. So with all of this talking about the fishing role, the stuff that we've said on stream, yes, there seems to be a lot of things in place for a fishing role to be made, but I do not think it's going to be coming anytime soon. The good thing is that for confirmed information about what will be included with the next update, we don't actually have to wait too long for. I have already done a video talking about the stuff we already know, so this is confirmed information from Rockstar. That video does include a bit of speculation, but the speculation comes off the actual facts that Rockstar have released. And from that, we can build a potential release. As said at the beginning, there's only a limited amount of weeks in which Rockstar could actually release information and then even release the major update. So if you would like to see that, there is a link in the description down below, as well as there'll be a card on screen right now, which you can click and it'll take you directly to that video. But all in all, this is all the information that we had regarding the fishing role. And there's not too many facts there, it's more of players getting hyped up for things. But there is a lot of stuff within the world that will show that fishing within the game could work as a role, as well as there's also a lot of content and features within the game which would already back a fishing role up. So Rockstar wouldn't have to do as much work for a fishing role compared to another role, but this would all depend on how they want the fishing role to behave. Let me know in the comments section down below with everything that I've talked about in today's video. Would a fishing role be something that you are interested in for Red Dead Online? This type of role would be in line with something like the collector, naturalist, and possibly even a trader as something that could be a business. And bear in mind, this probably won't be the next role. So for those of you that are wanting something a bit more action-packed, that's more likely to happen this time round for the next update, as we did have something a bit more calming and relaxing for the previous update, being the naturalist. So we're talking about a fishing role being way in the future. So let me know in the comment section down below whether or not that is something that you'd be interested in. If you do want to talk more in depth about future content coming to Red Dead Online, there is also a link in the description down below which will take you over to the Twitch stream. I currently stream every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Just head over to there, drop a follow, and you'll be notified the next time I go live. But anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But for now, I'm going. So see ya.